I didn't think I'd be doing this video today or any day at all. Um, in fact, I just recently caught wind of this story, but I felt compelled to talk about it because it's something I feel I know a little bit more about than the average person who would read this article. I typed JFK in on Google, um, just out of habit. He's my favorite president, so I just tend to look up stuff relating to him, and the first thing that pops up is a People.com article entitled JFK's grandson, Jack Schlossberg, endorses Hillary Clinton. She is our candidate in quotation marks. Um, and I will read this article and then proceed to, you know, give my piece. Jack Schlossberg, grandson of former President John F. Kennedy, is with her. Schlossberg, 23, who graduated from Yale in 2015, they said it like that wasn't last year, wrote an op-ed for the Washington Post on Friday, 2 days ago, this is Sunday currently, and shared his thoughts about the upcoming election. Voters in 1960 elected the first Catholic president. In 2012, I voted to re-elect the first African American president, he wrote, referring to his grandfather and President Barack Obama, respectively. Each was a vote for a man of principle and character, for a man who had proved himself capable and courageous, and who would lead our country with a combination of dignity, compassion, and toughness along a path of progress. He then connected the potential of the country electing the first woman president, electing the first woman president to the aforementioned president, endorsing the Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton. I'm sorry, I'm so excited to just go in on what I'm trying to say. This year, it will be with hope and pride that I cast my vote for a woman who fits that description, wrote Schlossberg, who has hosted his family's Profiles in Courage Award ceremony for the past 3 years. Clinton, Schlossberg argued, is the only choice for young voters in particular. Every young person, in age or at heart, should realize that Hillary Clinton is our candidate, and that we have a responsibility to each other to turn out and vote, he wrote. Too much is wrong with our country, our world, and our planet for any of us to stay home. His op-ed left readers with a final message about turning out to vote on Tuesday, 2 days from now. The choice is ours. It's an important one, and it couldn't be clearer. This was certainly not the first time the Kennedy heir had spoken out about politics. Taking after his relative, Schlossberg has provided op-eds and political commentary over the years. In May, he addressed the crowd while he hosted the 2016 Profile in Courage Award and talked about his idea of the United States' international role. America, as President Kennedy once described it, has always been a lantern in the dark for those who love freedom but are persecuted in misery or in need, he said. Now, I'm going to go through the beginning of the article and kind of do it chronologically as things are written here. Um, okay, the quotation, the first one about voters in 1960 electing the first Catholic president, voters, him in 2012 re-electing the first black one. Now, the article correctly states he's trying to connect those two to Clinton. And Clinton is such a contrast. And I'm not blaming the article for this because they're merely interpreting what he's writing. And if he's writing this, then I can't disagree with him more, and it's not because of the reasons one might think. I have mixed feelings about Obama. Um, I disagree with some of his policies. Some things are okay. That type of notion. But remember, with both Kennedy and Obama, they were both senators who were relatively young. Had held a couple of offices throughout the almost 20-year time span, our 20-year time span. Just within 20 years of being in politics, they became president. Let's put it that way. Close to 20 years. They were both fresh faces. They were both young in their 40s. Clinton is, let's take woman out of this, a person who has been in office for over 30 years, or had been in office for over 30 years prior to this year, and the last three since she stop being Secretary of State. And, really has been just in the public sphere for the last 40. Double the amount of time needs to you know, separately served. And also is, although I hate to bring it up, but close to 70. The point I'm making is she is both older and more quote unquote experienced, which really just amounts to nothing at this point, than those two. So the comparison really, I mean, you're just reaching essentially. Um, I mean, she could be from Massachusetts and be African American, and if the other stuff still applied, I would say the same thing. She's not, on their level or where they were when they ran and won. So I don't even understand him saying that. Okay, every young person in age or at heart should realize that Hillary Clinton is our candidate and that we have a responsibility to each other to turn out and vote. So are these the same young people, that should realize Clinton is their candidate? Are these the same ones that she called basement dwellers when they were voting for Sanders in the primary? All the while expecting them to come along and vote for her anyway because she's the Democratic nominee. Those are the same young voters, the ones that she insulted. Um, but I will give him at least the respect of saying, at the very least, he didn't say you must. He said you should, but not you must. He says the choice is yours, or is ours, rather. Okay, and that's my critique of his article. Now, my critique of him, and again, I don't know him personally. I know a bit about him, however. I know that when he was still attending Yale, he said he wants to pursue politics. And this is not me trying to say, oh, if you live in Massachusetts where he'll probably be running, do not vote for this man. No, no. But this is me saying that I know exactly the reason why he did this. People, especially young people that have aspirations in this field, they do things like this, go along with what the majority of their party is saying or doing, the conventional choice, because they want to be seen as one of them. He supported Obama at that time, or at least he claims he did. We can't pull up his voting record for sure. I doubt he voted for Romney though. Because he wanted the Democrats to start saying, okay, well, there's Schlossberg, he's the JFK grandson, and he's one of us. I guarantee you, that's exactly how they felt, and that's exactly why he did this. Because he wants to be able to say in 30 or 40 years, whenever he, runs for offices and eventually runs for president, oh yeah, I've been a Democrat all of my life. I am a party loyalist. That's how he wants to be seen. And, that's very smart politically because obviously they will see you that way. You give them you give them the reasons to trust you from the conventional standpoint of this is one of us. But it's very bad when you think about, he's over here talking about his courageous, um, and, grandfather and Obama. Where's the courage in going along with everything the majority of your party tells you to do? What courage is that? Like there's at some point you go from playing politics to just playing yourself. You think he thinks that doing this is going to help him in the long run, and it probably will. But you just lose respect for people over stuff like this because you have enough um, third party, not third party, but you have people who are nonpartisan, such as myself, that are against both Trump and Clinton, and I'm only 5 years younger than him, and he's telling me the young people realize this one hasn't. There's only 2 days before the election. When am I going to make this realization that, oh yes, I need to vote for Clinton? I mean, are you kidding me? So I'm kind of blown away by it, but even more so, the best thing he could have done, in my opinion, was write an article and say, you know what? Clinton's got some problems, but Trump has a mountain load, or something to that effect, where he acknowledges this is not the ideal first choice. But instead he does it, all slick where he stays quiet all primary. The only thing he did that whole primary was write an article about how, he had Cruz doing his JFK impression, how the two could be nothing like each other, something to that effect. And that was it. He stayed quiet during the primary, and then supported the general election candidate, just like any other career politician. And this guy hasn't even run for office yet.